Hello and welcome to iDIVAS. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tricia and I'm passionate about inspiring women to not just hang in there but to thrive. It seems times have changed. Married couples look far more diverse than, say, 30 years ago. As the nation becomes more ethnically and racially diverse, so are married and dating couples. I mean, just look around. You see interracial couples everywhere. And today, about 15% of newlywed couples are interracial. According to a Pew Research Center survey in 2021, 88% of white respondents express approval of black-white marriages, compared to 77% of black respondents, which is interesting. In the same survey, 94% of Asian respondents expressed approval of Asian white marriages, while only 84% express approval of Asian black marriages, which is not too surprising. What I've always found interesting, though, is that women of all races usually face more criticism than their male counterparts when it comes to dating outside of their race. There are two yardsticks being used here, mainly by men who are resentful sometimes or territorial. It's about the most unique aspect of the male nature. Women are to be conquered and men are to be the conqueror. And so, it's considered to some degree disgraceful for women to be conquered by a man of another race, yet praiseworthy for a man to conquer a woman of another race. Also, when women date outside of their race, stereotypes are more activated because of the intersection between racial discrimination and good old-fashioned double standards. With that said, if you're a woman who has swum in familiar waters so far, there are a few things you might be subjected to when you dip your toes into interracial dating that you might not expect. Because I have personal experience in this area, I'm going to share some issues you might face when dating outside of your race. So grab a drink and let's get started. You may be accused of having disdain for your own race of men. Those who have a hostile ethnocentric bias are often the ones to make this accusation, which can lead to tension and conflict. They believe your choice to date out must be symptomatic of your ill feelings that you have towards your own race of men. Of course, there are women whose choice to date out is rooted in negative stereotypes about the men in their respective racial or ethnic group. But, for the vast majority of women, that's not the case. Often those who jump to that conclusion do not subscribe to the possibility that women can fall for someone of another race and still maintain a real strong sense of pride and connectedness to their own group of people. If you decide to address this, you may want to just make it clear to whoever is making this accusation that, who you date is ultimately about your happiness. Listen, a healthy interracial relationship is about two people who are attracted to each other that happen to be from different backgrounds, not disliking, your own race of men or people. The two are certainly not mutually exclusive. Actually, dating out can be a very enlightening and enriching cultural experience. You both get to learn about the cultural nuances of a different group and experience everything firsthand, developing a new understanding and empathy for another race or ethnicity. Next, you may have to deal with being fetishized. While dating outside your race can open your eyes to new positive experiences, the flip side is it can come with a lot of fetishizations and presumptions about your character. When a man fetishizes you, He closes his eyes completely to your individuality. They don't see you as individuals with your own thoughts, feelings, and desires. This usually stems from the objectification and sexualization of women in the media and popular culture, which can normalize the idea that women exist solely for the pleasure of men. Therefore, for me, it's over from the start if I even sense that a man sees me as a fetish, because it's not a compliment. Certainly a man can acknowledge the fact that you being of a different race is a reality. However, if that's the one and only reason why he's interested in you, that's going to be a problem. That's because he's coming into the relationship with fixed notions of who you're supposed to be. And so when you date a man who dates outside of his race, you want to ask yourself, what am I to him? Am I someone he's really interested in, or just a sexual experiment? To add, be very wary if a man announces that he only dates women from your race. On the surface, it may seem flattering and a sign that you're his type, but a man who isn't attracted to or interested in women from his own race probably views himself as, this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for other races of women. In other words, he's full of himself. As well, typically, if, this sort of guy compares you to women of his own race, making you believe that your personality and looks are like several notches above theirs, you must ask yourself, you really have to be honest with yourself, does this man have a preference or a fetish? And do I really want to spend my time with a man who has to tear down his own women to pay me a compliment? Really? Next, you may encounter a form of soft bigotry when interacting with a polite society. Those from higher social classes are less likely to use outright racist language towards you. Such coarse language, is reserved for the poor and uneducated. However, if you're a woman of color, prepare for a different kind of prejudice here, especially when mingling in these circles. Their anxiety about your interracial relationship can manifest in subtle and patronizing ways. This can come in the form of jokes or political views that are really masking their underlying prejudice, especially if your partner has a high status. Despite their innocent appearance, their words can be very condescending at times and aimed at provoking a negative, defensive response out of you. In other words, they're trying to wreck your day. In the moment, correcting or responding may seem appropriate. However, I have learned the most effective way to deal with these individuals is to remain calm and ignore them entirely. By not taking the bait and being confrontational, you can leave a lasting impact on them. If you show that you can't be provoked, they are less likely to start another inappropriate, rude conversation with you the next time you cross paths. Because if they do, they risk being snubbed again. And that's the worst for a lot of people, especially affluent people. They don't like to feel ignored. Furthermore, along the same lines, in interracial relationships, partners may experience different levels of privilege and oppression based on their race, which can affect the perspectives, their perspectives on various issues and present challenges within the relationship. For instance, your partner's family may not approve of your race, leading to tensions and conflicts in the relationship. You may feel hurt and alone, while your partner may not always fully comprehend the significance of this rejection. To build a healthy and strong interracial relationship, it's important for couples to acknowledge and understand each other's experiences of privilege and oppression based on their race, of course. Communication, empathy, and a willingness to listen and learn from each other are essential in navigating any challenges that may arise. That's it. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have experience dating outside your race, do share, some of the issues that you encountered. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.